Right, now I'm recording. Hey, welcome back YouTube. We're here. We're going to talk to Darren, do his quest, because we can't figure out where else to go. We looked about a bit, but nothing happened, so we rested again. Just wasting a lot of time, because you can't really pass time in these types of games, because like bad shit happens if you waste too much time, but I can't help it. I need to rest, because my characters keep getting exhausted, so nothing I can fucking do about it. Amelia, we'll just... Darren, where's Darren? Right to Darren to have a more royal camp. Hey, how you doing there, bud? There you are. Did you also receive a fraction of that unusual power? Looks like it. Looks like it. I genuinely hope getting away from you would put an end to it, all of it. Your gift truly did come from Iomade, and giving me a smidgen of that power was a very subtle joke on her part. I had no idea that our divine Lightbringer of Mendev even had a sense of humor. Don't get me started on my many acts of sacrilege against her. That obscene engraving, the truth about the test of the Starstone, the tamest one by far. So, people say you're like always like messing with the Queen, Galfrey. Always messing with her, Darren. What's that all about? You have a crush on her or something?
Does it even matter? All of Mendevian high society has declared war on me. They either despise me or they are trying to steer me back onto the right path, and I'm doing everything in my power to keep them on their toes. I relish the prospect of all the fun this mess in Kenabras will bring. Daeron grins from ear to ear. I shall either commission a song about the great Kenabras fiasco from a certain talented bard, or confuse the jewelers with a rather tall order, a batch of silver dragon toys with detachable heads. Give me a week,
That's
and there will
brutal,
be
dude, come
another shot
on.
in the capital.
I know that's bullshit, dude. I'm totally against that. That dragon fought for us, dude. Probably might have been, I mean, I think she could have got wrecked, but she just fought to protect us. It's kinda funny, but... I'm not sure he wants revenge. I think he just likes to have fun, but then again, you can always goof around, I suppose. I goof around a bit. I'd probably make some jokes like this, perhaps, but would I really make a joke about someone dying who was really awesome? Probably not, actually. If I did, it'd be it's usually something ancient. It's been a long time ago. I'm feeling one or two. Are you here, ZZ, by the way? What do you think of this, Easy? You watched the start, didn't you? Now the dragon um, got killed at the start when she tried to fight Discari. She got her head like stabbed and then cut off. He's staying here, this part here. Why don't you give that a quick read? What do you think I should answer? 1 or 2? Okay then. Kinda feeling 1, but yeah then. So buddy, how'd you like the new role as advisor, huh? But you're not too happy about it.
Daeron winces. You also enjoy poking me with that stick, don't you? Imagine it, me, a crusader. If my dearest cousin hoped to teach me a lesson, she managed it perfectly. An assignment I couldn't avoid without losing face, this idiotic journey leading straight into the demon's maws. I could have been on a pleasure boat right now, with the loveliest songstress in Pitax on my arm, and a bottle of the finest Kionin wine to keep us company. Incidentally, I blame you for all of this. Daeron lets out a sigh. Well, actually I think Cousin Galfrey is to blame for everything that's happened to me. And I suppose some of my misdeeds could be considered my own fault, but I can hardly be expected to take responsibility, can I? Certainly not. Therefore, I shall lay all the blame at your door, and plot my revenge. He gives you an innocent smile.
You're a funny guy, Darren. I'm really curious about something. If I say I don't want you in my party anymore, would that just let him off the hook? Giving.
This does not come as a surprise. I'm more surprised to see how long you've managed to tolerate me. Still, let me give you a chance to withdraw. Are you certain of your decision? Your capriciousness is, dare I say it, charming, in a way.
Interesting. Well, let's load. How's life in Mendiv in the Crusade? That's an interesting question. What do you think of our enemies?
Do you mean the demons themselves or their followers? The former deserve to be cleansed with heavenly fire for their unholy origin alone, and the latter for their idiocy. I don't understand why a sane person would submit themselves to Discari or Cabriari. Alright, Lady Nocticula almost seems like a bearable enough mistress, yet there are so many other cultists. They've tried to recruit me twice already, and I'm not even that old. First, a very pretty two-effling girl tried to seduce me, then they came with promises of Lord Baphomet's endless boons. I still wonder what exactly the old hornhead could offer me that I don't already have. You know what I've been thinking. Every shopkeeper knows this trick, an enticing offer along the lines of, 1 in every 100 buns from my bakery contains a silver coin. And, of course, a hired actress to make a memorable show of finding said coin in her sweet roll. And there you have it, hundreds of gullible fools storm the shop hoping to win a prize for themselves. I think the infamous Ariel Uvals was such an actress for the Lords of the Abyss. A petty Sarkarian witch who became the uncrowned queen of the world wound, waited upon hand and foot by demon lords. Only instead of visiting a bakery, the gullible fools rush to join the cultists.
Be alright.
We have an army of unbelievably powerful supernatural invaders from another dimension hell-bent on destruction and domination, and what do those fools do? They serve them willingly as pawns and lackeys, hoping against hope that someday their masters will notice them. You won't believe how delighted I am to be so vain and self-absorbed. These sins protect me against demonic temptation better than any virtue.
Honestly, that's very true in a way. If you think yourself above all these things, you're not going to worship them. You're that amount of arrogance, basically. Not a fan of the Crusaders, eh? I'm not sure entirely am either, not all of them anyway.
Imagine being someone like me. Someone who has everything they can possibly desire, youth, beauty, wealth, an honest wish to live and enjoy living, but vanishingly few ways to put it all to any use. The fact that the word fun itself is not yet outlawed in Mendev must be due to some bureaucratic oversight. You can celebrate your victories solemnly, you can wet your whistle after a challenging battle, but what about real fun? Joys, pleasures. I can't remember a single evening at court without someone chastening me for my banquets, my lovers and mistresses, my luxuriant clothes, my everything. It would have been a lot easier to tolerate all those hypocrites if they took a break once in a while. Instead there was a constant fuss about how I wasn't doing anything for the greater good and how I only brought shame to my royal cousin.
I get that, you just want to enjoy life, you're kind of sick of being shamed for it. And he probably actually would help more if he wasn't shamed so much for it, but now that he's shamed so much for it, he tries to be the opposite, to say you're going to spite them all. One second, guys. What's Mendev in general like?
It doesn't exist. They are on skulls. It is a frontier country that has attracted every utopian, adventurer, and fanatic from all over the world for more than a century. It is a place where the strangers outnumber the locals, especially in the cemeteries. The population of Mendev, for the most part, consists of humans and other races not exactly known for their longevity, so the current generation of Mendevians were born in the shadow of the world wound and raised by the Crusades. I might be the last person to complain about the decline of traditions and lack of character in our country, but I also happen to come from one of Mendev's most ancient lineages. Its history is bred deep in my bones. My tutors told me stories about my heritage. The galleries, libraries and even the interiors of the manors I grew up in were filled to the brim with memories of events long past. There are many heroes of old Mendev among my glorious ancestors, or at the very least patrons and contemporaries of such heroes. Does anyone actually remember them now? I don't think so. These days Mendev has its own heroes, in shining armor and with holy fire in their eyes. I myself remember how several streets that once celebrated my ancestors were renamed in honor of some crusaders who had died in a heroic fashion. None of the citizens remember the old crossing festival that was eventually replaced by Armas. These holidays even share the same date. Pretty much the only authentic thing about Mendev now is its endless war with the demons. And is there a point in bemoaning this state of affairs? What's gone is gone, but at least we are no longer some tiny godforsaken northern kingdom, and that's something, isn't it?
I guess. I actually get a lot where he's coming from now. I'm kind of I'm trying to understand him more as a person. Maybe you're right with that decision, MZZ.
You mean my dearest cousin? Oh, she is the embodiment of all the virtues one can possibly think of, and all the unthinkable ones as well. She is beautiful, wise, charismatic, sharp-witted, a kind yet ambitious ruler, a skilled fighter, and a beacon of faith for all the worshippers of Iomade. Have I already mentioned her unrivaled beauty? I'm more than sure that even her cooking is delicious, if she would deign to descend to the realm of mortals and actually try to cook something. The old bitch. Daeron's bored tone doesn't waver even on these last words. If you think I am insulting her dishonorably behind her back, then you are wrong. Her Majesty is perfectly aware of my feeling toward her. The entire capital knows it as well, all of Kenabras, too, if not the entire country. My royal cousin is the quintessence of everything that irritates me about my glorious motherland. Her flamboyant righteousness, forced selflessness and, sadly, her sincere devotion and austerity. The Count frowns. I must give her credit for one thing, though. She somehow managed to keep this country united, even despite the unrelenting demonic threat and the influx of thousands of foreigners every day. After a pause, Daeron continues. Galfrey of Mendev is like a demigoddess to many of our paladins. She is the Crusader Queen, the Sword of Iomade. Is there any other monarch on Gularian whose subjects love them so ardently? The church pays for her life elixirs so that she can continue to be the cement that keeps the crusade together. Without her, this whole war machine would fall to pieces immediately, and I'd so love to watch it crumble. This holy pot is in need of a good stir.
Well, actually, now you think about it, she probably has to be like that, because... I mean, if she's not, it's all going to fall apart. She's doing her best. I'm especially keen on helping people, but your knowledge of healing is truly impressive. So it's pretty impressive. What prompted your interest in that, or is it all just natural?
If you really want to try out everything life has to offer, you also have to understand how to deal with the consequences. And I'm not talking about a simple hangover, mind you. There are far too many things that I cherish to fit them all into a single conversation. Believe it or not, but I might be one of the most life-loving people you've ever known. Daeron smiles. His eyes are gleaming with something different from his usual impudence and irony. There's a dreamy air about him all of a sudden. I rarely meet anyone who embraces the joys of living as enthusiastically as myself. There are so many exciting and beautiful things in the world, it should be illegal to waste your time on anything you do not enjoy. And I am not afraid to repeat that to anyone's face, should it be Discari and his demonic herd, or Iomade the Lightbringer herself. I hope you don't feel obliged to offer me your insincere condolences on this unfortunate occasion. My whole family, my entire noble line, they all died. And demons are to blame. It's not like I actually loved any of my relatives except for my mother, but what's gone is gone. The family crypts are full of corpses, all covered in dust and the shadows of the past. The feeling of helplessness. The lack of control over my own life. Daeron replies without thinking. Then he adds, with obvious sarcasm. And onion rings, of course. I'd murder the person who came up with those abominations.
Ah, I see. But before he's all like... Oh, I hate all these stifling self-righteous people and all their self-righteousness, but I think he just doesn't like them trying to make him control his life. I think he doesn't like them trying to control his life making him control himself and being a certain way. He just wants to be free. I suppose being a noble lineage and an Aasimar, you expect him to be perfect and never have any kind of dark elements about him. He's just always trying to like be free basically and just get it all out. Any good stories about the past?
I've got plenty, but I have to warn you that even the most outrageous debauchery sounds far less thrilling when you were not the one doing the debauching. Still, since you asked, I suppose the worst mess I've ever got myself into was when I staged my own kidnapping. I was once in correspondence with one of the Riverlands nobles, the young Lord Lebeda, and he told me about his days as a hostage to a group of bandits. This made me wonder what it would be like, and I thought that it might be fun to set up a little experiment. I engineered my own kidnapping by a certain gang through a chain of intermediaries and hired actors. Those fellows took the job very seriously. They caught me by surprise, killed my 2 bodyguards, and even tied me up. Of course, the whole thing seems preposterous now, but it seemed like an ingenious idea at the time. Their employers had told the kidnappers that they were to keep me safe and sound, and another group of mercenaries in disguise was watching the spectacle from afar, ready to interfere in case anything went wrong. It turned out to be a terrible idea nonetheless. It wasn't the least bit fun or exciting. Sure, those bandits had been unable to torture or hurt me physically in any way, but they had plenty of other, non-invasive methods of humiliation in their arsenal. Taking almost all of your clothes off and splashing ice-cold water all over you, for example. I can't even remember if I said anything truly offensive to provoke them. Even though I initially planned to let them go after the ransom, their overly emotional reactions made me change my mind. I told my mercenaries to hang them all on the spot. I suppose the whole ordeal taught me a valuable lesson, which is that I am not built for hardships and trials.
I don't believe in this. You're gonna hire bodyguards, you should have like a spec due to them, and like you just got your 2 guys killed for nothing basically.
Daeron pales a little, but not out of shame. Oh, spare me. It irks me beyond all measure when I hear about the suffering of innocents. He sighs, looks away and continues in a flat, polite tone. Yes, the bodyguards died. Guarding nobles is a dangerous job. They were well aware of the risk. I don't really see a problem with that. Besides, they proved their incompetence. They would have stood no chance against real kidnappers.
I mean, it was 2 guards against a fucking shit ton of bandits. I do feel that honestly, but at the same time, these mind games will come back to bite you at some point. I actually feel like saying this. Maybe I should say this because I may actually take it more to heart.
I hope not. I enjoy myself, I enjoy my life, and I'd like to keep this going for as long as possible.
Maybe I should have said the good option. Maybe I could like convert him or something.
So that was a stupid story, and now I'll tell you a truly brilliant one. Prelate Hulran had always strictly prohibited any public celebrations in Kenabras, and he always picked on me for my lack of respect for the fallen and whatnot. His grumbling annoyed me so much that one day I drove 4 barges into the city harbor and set up a celebration on their decks. The ships on the river didn't fall under the prelate's jurisdiction, you see, so all he could do was snarl at me from the embankment. I for one did not forget the old boy. The main attraction of the festivities involved an inquisitor of Iomade dancing and roasting beautiful witches on illusory bonfires, taking off his clothes with every new victim. The spectacle was so heated, in every sense of the word, that the prelate almost had a stroke. Daeron gives you a mischievous smile.
Okay, no, that's a good one. That's a good one, there. That was a fine idea, and he honestly deserved it. That was pretty good.
I still consider that one of my finest ideas of all time. Should the Crusaders ever succeed in their efforts against the World Wound, I will do my utmost to get permission to hold a grand public celebration. Rivers of wine, free of charge. An obligatory parade and a carnival in the evening. A contest for the most provocative succubus costume with a hefty prize in gold. Another contest where the participants have to fish a sausage out of a wine jar blindfolded with their hands tied behind their backs. The wine will symbolize the blood of all the dead heroes of the war, and the sausage, well, they'll find a heroic meaning for that as well. Over the years, the commemoration of the greatest victory of light over darkness will turn into an ordinary holiday, a fine excuse to get sloshed and rut like animals in the streets.
Nice one, dude. That was pretty good. Here, I thought you were holding insulted one pulled by accident.
Daeron laughs. This time his smile is surprisingly soft. I like your way with words. What did you expect me to say if I wanted to make a good impression? Something along the lines of, I'm not mean, I'm just being honest with myself and everyone else. That's what people use as an excuse when they want to keep up their saccharine fake-it while still saying whatever nasty little thoughts spring to mind. That is not what I do. I have no hidden agenda, I'm just as much of an insufferable prick as I seem to be. Some people are simply begging for a good dose of mockery, so who am I to deny them? I don't give a damn if anyone holds a grudge against me, which is why I don't even try to avoid it.
Fair enough. This conversation was at least a slight bit amusing. Anyway, I've had a good chat, Darren. I got to know you pretty well. Maybe we could have a kinda fun little do at your estate, your Heaven's Edge. Could be pretty good.
Oh. I was just about to mention it myself. I've been thinking. Now that I'm in the middle of this whole crusade nonsense, I simply must devise new ways to have fun. With all the recent commotion, my birthday completely slipped my mind. What if we were to celebrate it at Heaven's Edge? It's not far from here, and you'll get to enjoy a banquet in an bona fide haunted house. Daeron seems to have trouble getting the words out, which clearly indicates how rarely he has to ask for anything. Since you're my superior, and I'm your advisor, I am obliged to ask your permission to leave for the festivities. And I want to invite you, too. I'm sure the commander can free up an afternoon while the soldiers are on leave.
Alright, deal, let's do it. I don't know how to do the fucking battle edge resin, honestly. Perfect. You'll have a ball, and I'll make sure of it. Something strange flickers in Darren's smile. Okie dokie, that is a lot of talking done. I think I should maybe order some food again. Thank you, soldiers. Right, if we were meant to speak to anyone secret in this freaking place, I don't know where they are. You know what, I also think I need to explore some of these tents first before I leave. Nora, I never spoke to this wee girl in here, this wee halfling or whatever she is. Nora. Not really came up. We need to speak to you to do something or whatever. I do get tired of speaking so much, so often. I just like to... Well, let's just do this.
Knight Commander. How can I help? There is much I can do, just ask.
Nura looks at you with eyes filled with enthusiasm. She's holding a notebook and a traveler's inkwell.
Let me do her voice just once so you won't get a feel for it without the AI. What it should sound like. A moment. Knight Commander, how can I help? There must be much I can do, just ask. Probably sounded like that. Now my throat always kills me when I start streaming, and it's gonna kill me more and more and more. I think I'm gonna need to change my voice a little bit. Just that my voice will end up permanently changing, and it's gonna sound more gruff if I have to keep straining it so much. Okay then, well, let me ask you about yourself first. You're a slave?
She makes a wry face.
When I was a slave in Istria, they would beat me with a stick to force me into believing in Asmodeus. They hit me and said it was for my own good. Ever since then I don't like temples. I realize there are different gods, like Desna or Kaiden, who teach goodness and freedom. But it's just, as soon as I smell frankincense, I see the slave driver's stick. Maybe one day I'll be able to turn to a deity without cringing from a blow for not being reverent enough. But for now I let others pray for me.
Nura's smile trembles and collapses.
God damn, that's pretty brutal, man. Oh, honey, it's alright. Damn, dude. Huh. I succeeded in a perception. How the fuck did I succeed in a perception? I have like +0 perception. I guess it's from all the crew since I'm in camp. I get really good. I'm pretty perceptive in real life, pretty wise in that sense, but I can't afford it as a character. Maybe I should get 16 in for it. Nura sounds sincere, but you feel she's holding something back. I suppose I could always get rid of Knowledge World and just stick with Knowledge Arcana, but I kind of like the idea of being a polymath, so... Oh, she's not being sincere. She sounds sincere, but she's holding something back, so it's something she's not telling us. It was mostly sincere. How'd you come into this, like, serve Galfrey?
I was a slave of Lord Axel Tresbert in Istria, my homeland. Oh, what a man he was. He towered over his fellows like a rock over a garbage heap. A true hero. He bought me as a simple secretary, but he made me learn the history of the world wound, all of it, one volume after another. He hired tutors for me, even sent me to meet prominent historians. He didn't want a simple slave, but a slave with an impeccable education. Lord Tresbert was going on a crusade. He firmly believed that the servants of the good gods were weak, and only a follower of Asmodeus could stand against the demon invasion. He took me along as a secretary, a historian, and, most importantly, he entrusted me with recording his glorious story for future generations. In his crusade, Lord Tresbert performed many brave feats, but even he could not stand against the world wound alone. In his final battle with the demons, when my lord realized he was doomed, his final act was to cover my retreat, so that I could tell the world of his great deeds. Some people have said what he did was not heroic, just an arrogant moron puffing himself up one last time, but I say curse their tongues. My difficult journey ended in Mendev, where I found my freedom. There I published Lord Tresbert's biography and... I don't want to boast but... who am I kidding? Of course I do. The book sold in great numbers, and made me rather famous for a time. That's what brought me to the Queen's attention. She invited me to her court. After all, she was curious about my deceased lord, and she was in great need of an expert on the history of the world wound. I hope you will find me useful as well.
But she needs to actually revere her old master a bit. Probably a bit of Stockholm syndrome, honestly. I get that, honestly. Sucks, but thought you were kind of probably gaslighting and all that bullshit. Maybe it was kind of cool, I don't know. But it is faults and negatives. You're a historian?
Haha. Why not? As soon as we finish off the demons, I'll get right to it. Just take care that you don't end up like Lord Tresbert.
I'll try. I'll try, honey. I should be fine, though. Where are you from? Let's go.
Isja. A small piece of land that proudly calls itself a country, though it hasn't been independent for a single day in all the centuries it's existed. They have a lot of national pride, but all of it is borrowed. Always looking to the great day when they can at last be free from the rule of Chaliax.
So, what's his name? Rejo's from Chiliax. Yeah, Scary love talking politics, but if start bargaining over beats in the market. Oh, I'll just do this.
The Istari love talking politics. If two of them start bargaining over beats at the market, you can be sure that they'll end up arguing about whether an independent Istra will be a monarchy or a republic. I've always found it funny to listen to. And a little disgusting. You see, there are a lot of us halflings in the country, but very few are citizens. Most are slaves. I was lucky. I've always been clever, ever since I was little, so they sent me to school instead of making me do the grunt work. They taught me to count and write, and I was sold as a secretary to Lord Axel Tresbert. He's the one I left Istra with, never to return, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yeah, a little bit of a harsh, withered look in her face, so away from her hardship. Know anything about this weird wind?
Yes, indeed, I've been told of your affliction.
Neuro appears at the center of your chest.
Can you will the wound to open? No. That's a shame.
Can you tell me anything about it?
Well, it's difficult to say. I know of blades that leave never healing cuts, of poisons that stop wounds from healing. I've heard of witches' curses that are rewarded with eternal wounds. But wounds that seem to reopen and heal over and over.
Quite odd, honestly. Not really heard of that either. Any other cases like this?
Let's think. In 4671, a Mendevian army corporal had all his bones and cartilage turned to glass. In 4700, a scribe in Kenabras had all her skin simply come away like she'd been boiled. And in 4638, oh, you don't happen to have insects crawling over you? Locusts? No. Rats, perhaps? Too bad.
Nura looks at you with genuine regret.
Think it's dangerous?
It most likely is dangerous, but you are under the protection of Iomade, Commander. She granted you mythic power, as they say. Surely the Inheritor would not leave you to face this alone. Have you, perhaps, noticed that the wound opens at moments when you waver in your faith? Perhaps it is triggered by doubt.
Frowning, Nura looks at you with sincere concern.
Maybe it is. Every time I'm like, time to whoop ass, motherfucker, it closes again. And the mythic power comes up. And then we're back to normal, the wind just like reappears. Okay, thank you. History of the Whirlwind, sure, let's hear about it. I think I already know a lot about it, because I've played Pathfinder, I kind of read about a lot of this lore from the tabletop. Though I don't really know about a lot of the original Crusades. I know Aurelio Vorlish opened it. Well, I mean, I suppose only... Let's actually, you know what? Let me ask about the Crusades. I know how it came to be. I want to know how long Finian, the little sword-wrapped soul guy I've got, has been a sword. So 4622 is when this whirlwind began. That's the first crusade.
It began in 4622. Yes, it took the church and the secular authorities nearly 2 decades and hundreds of thousands of lives before they decided to take action. In the meantime, Sarkaris was only supported by handfuls of volunteers. By the time the crusade began, the demons had already invaded Mendev. The Crusaders pushed them back, in what must have seemed a total triumph at the time, the forces of good easily crushing the demons on all fronts. They erected Drazan on the lands they conquered, an indestructible fortress, and the capital of the Crusader movement. In 4630, 8 years after it began, the First Crusade was declared victorious. It was the first triumph of the Crusaders. And, unfortunately, the last.
Right, so 4622, when did the Second Crusade begin? Right, only like 10 years later, basically. 10, 16 years later.
In 4638, the world wound suddenly started expanding, and a new wave of demons appeared. The Crusaders were all but delighted. Last time, they'd routed the forces of the Abyss and they welcomed another chance to prove themselves. But this time, everything was different. Instead of scattered gangs, they faced a large and organized army. Drazan was besieged, and the Crusaders lost all the lands they'd won back before. They had to retreat, and all that remained of Sarkaris was left to the demons.
Well, that sucks, that must have been pretty demoralizing. Especially for mortal people, like, humans live forever, so they don't really give a shit if they lose it, they can just keep trying.
But while the monsters were devouring the unprotected lands, the Crusaders erected a chain of wardstones along the border with the world wound. We have Iomade and her herald to thank for their help. It was the Second Crusade's only victory, but it halted the wound's growth. The catastrophe had become a stalemate, at the cost of tremendous sacrifice.
When was the third one? What would this one, was it 4650, I suppose? This one is about like 20 years later, 22 years later.
About 50 years after the opening of the World Wound, Discari found an ally. Baphomet entered the war, a cunning, insidious demon lord who prefers deception to open conquest. He sets his enemies against each other, and lures the virtuous onto the path of wickedness. Traitors appeared among the Crusaders, secret agents of his cult.
Okay, clever. Right, so this wound must go to Disguise Realm, because all the Demon Lords aren't coming in. Because he's the only one that seems to be, like headlining it.
For a time, no one suspected a thing, even as they watched helplessly as the Crusader movement fell to ruin. Where once valor proudly stood, now greed and dumb cruelty reigned, and outrage was drowned in apathy. In 4665, the Church announced a new crusade, hoping to boost morale. They didn't succeed, to put it mildly. Some fought the demons in earnest, and for a time they even dared hope to retake Drazan. But the Third Crusade would be remembered as a witch hunt, in every sense. Inquisitors hoped to purge any cultists from the ranks of fighters, but instead they got a barrage of denunciations, widespread suspicion, and innocent victims. It sometimes happened that two orders would denounce each other as traitors and wipe each other out, much to the demons' delight. Just 3 years later, in 4668, the Church put the disgrace to an end. Of all the crusades, that one was the least glorious.
The Third Crusade was a real shithole. We basically got Baphomet to blame for all this then, so... We're making fun of the Baphomet cultists, but really... Baphomet cult is really the most dangerous one of all.
Of course, the demons had no intention of sitting quietly caged behind the ward stones. They kept attacking Kenabras, trying to reach the stone and destroy it. Or just scratch its surface. Or, if even that wasn't possible, before it. The Crusaders drove the demons away from the city, again and again. The Fourth Crusade would last for 15 years, an exhausting study in positional warfare. The demons attacked, and they were pushed back. The Crusaders went on the offensive, but were forced to retreat. And all the while, the losses were tremendous. The Fourth Crusade's only achievement was that they didn't let a single ward stone fall. They didn't retake a sliver of land, to say nothing of Drazan. So many lives, just to maintain the stalemate. You can imagine how that affected morale.
So many lives. So Binion has been a kind of weapon. Seems to be about 40 odd years, 55 years. Yeah, about 40 to 55 years he's been a kind of sole weapon or whatever. Yeah, it's good to know.
My pleasure. You just have to remember to stop me, or I'll go on about it forever.
I could ask about Old Sir Chorus, but I don't know our time. Now I could probably learn about what Baron's history was like. His family lineage and stuff. I think I actually need to read instead of just listening to it. I immerse myself more when I read it. I'll read it while I'm listening. But the AI voice is really only for the stream, honestly. Not for me. I prefer reading it, honestly. I take it in and then immerse myself better when I read it. Especially since I read it in their voices, so... Oh wait, I shouldn't have sold that cape. I could have transmogged the one I've got now. Maybe I can buy it back. look at this thing. Holy fuck, this thing looks cool as hell. It looks really cool. Yeah. What can you do to help the warrior for? Really? I think you said that before, but I mean, goddamn, you look like such a warrior.
I was not designed for any type of combat. Yet I can bring beauty and harmony to any type of combat.
Erebeth, what's this thing doing camp?
It's under my supervision. Since the day we were blessed with this shiny chatterbox, Magelin Brighton and Vivify its day, there have been 16 attempted thefts. 2 by those I had entrusted with protecting it. You think we should have left it in a ravaged city so some smart elect could chop it up? No, it's now the property of the Crusade. Which means I'm going to stand guard over it even if I have to keep this beautiful oaf in the command tent.
Happy to be of service. And Magelin brighten and vivify your day.
There's been a lot of walking. Anything else I'm missing? I want to make sure I don't miss too many important things. Chapel tent. You know what? I know I need to do one more thing, but let me go in here first. Nice. Nice. Okay, you know what, let me actually use my recipes I got here. So, moss porridge doesn't sound amazing. Glowing croissant though sounds nice. Baronry, Desna. Aristotle. Correct. The Dwarf God. Correct seems to have quite a following, there's even not that many dwarfs here. It's not like it's an elf god there or anything. It's funny because the word Torag in Scottish slang kind of means just someone that's kind of dirty and unkempt and like... like that basically. Right, I think that's everything. I think I can now hard save and get the hell out of here and hopefully find where I'm going. Right, so wait, I think I need to speak to Erebeth. Maybe she can lead us to Dresden or whatever. I can't seem to move to Dresden if I'm going in the right direction. Is Nivea in here? I can speak to Nivea as well. It's been a while since I've seen her. Started the game with her. Where are you, Nivea? In my tent. Speak to Erebeth, check my tent, and then leave. Hey there, Erebeth.
Commander, allow me to say something.
Tirabeth looks even more serious than usual.
Before you, this wasn't a war. It was agony, drawn out over decades. No one believed in victory anymore. When the demons attacked the city, for some it was a relief. At least the end had come. They laid down their weapons and surrendered without a fight. I felt the same thing, but I somehow got through on stubbornness and the vague hope that if nobody found Anivia's body, she might by some miracle have survived. And that miracle was you. You returned my beloved to me when I'd nearly lost all hope of seeing her alive again. Then you went on a suicide mission to the Grey Garrison and won the city back for us. You turned a defeat into a victory. I know it wasn't easy, but you make everything seem so effortless. You do everything just like that.
She says with a snap of her fingers.
Oh, no problem, honey, you're right. Don't worry, I got this. I'm gonna kick these demons' asses, don't worry, hon, we got this.
The Queen believes in your powers too. But for me, they are just more proof of what I felt that day when I saw Anivia alive, standing next to you. You're the miracle we've been waiting for. You're the one who will finally put an end to this terrible war, and in spite of everything, deliver us the victory we so desperately need. With you, I'm sure this crusade will achieve what the others could not.
I appreciate that a lot, Erebeth. That's actually something that actually felt pretty awesome, honestly, and don't worry, I'll make sure we get us all through this. I agree with that, honestly. It seemed more noble than anyone else here. When she said that, because I remember the first time I played this game, I really struggled. It may have looked easy when I played it, but I struggled an insane amount getting out of the first area. The shield maze, I mean, I actually seen her. She was like that for me. I was like, I just seen her come in and one-shot all these things. I was like, goddamn. And it's golden armor, and she was giant. I was like, goddamn, she's a fucking miracle. I actually felt the same thing when I seen her the first time. So I really like her a bit. I kind of wish she could be like a companion who's with you all the time, but maybe it's good she isn't. Although I was my Indian Beth, honestly, you're fucking awesome.
Tirabetha's cheeks blush a little.
Thank you, Commander. It is an honor to hear that, especially from you.
Oh, sure, Zizi. You said something new. I'll catch you later, Zizi. Right, I'll see you when you're back, okay? You still there? Sorry if I missed you. You know I don't always have my chat. You are still in chat. You're watching, so hopefully you're still here. I know you're still here, Magvin, but and also it's good to hear from you, Magvin. I'm just wondering if Zizi is still here, so I can say bye to him until he's back.
Every noble family begins somewhere. You must have heard the recent story from the stolen lands in the River Kingdoms.
That's me.
Just imagine, coming from nowhere and making it all the way to a royal crown in just a few years.
Oh shit, I fucking just got spoiled. I think you can become a royal in that. Okay. Well, shit. Well, okay. I guess I'll do that. At some point.
Sometimes I wonder what would happen if I managed to distinguish myself somehow. But then I push away such unworthy, selfish thoughts, of course. We don't fight for rewards. The fate of the world is at stake. And yet...
Tirabetha's blush deepens and she falls silent.
Well, I think the head of counterintelligence is Anivia, so I've always been hanging out with Anivia, so I think that's bad. We need reinforcements. I'll say this anyway.
You think the Queen doesn't trust you? If that were true, she wouldn't have put you in charge of this army. My main task is to be your advisor until you've gained enough experience as a commander. As for counterintelligence, Anivia and I were tasked with keeping an eye on your inner circle. But you're not under suspicion, Commander. You're under our protection.
Yeah, we could use more soldiers for that gigantic army. It's to the west. Can you help us with that?
Tirabeth frowns.
When we began the march on Drazen, we chose speed over numbers. If I order more volunteers to be recruited, they simply won't arrive in time. We could pay mags to deliver the troops to the camp, except I doubt that our army's coffers could afford it. If you can spare 7,500 gold coins, I will see to our reinforcements.
Okay, I got that. That's a King's Ransom in Pathfinder. Well, it should be, but I've got it. So let's do it. Next one. Consider it done, and I just like give her a big hefty sack of gold out of a bag of holding, dimensional bag of holding.
Tirabeth says goodbye with a short bow.
Hell yeah, money, motherfucker! I love spending lots of money in games. It makes me feel so fucking powerful. I never feel as powerful as when I'm using lots of money. Wait, oh, so you're in here, and you? What the hell are you doing here? Fucking grab her, Anivia.
A wounded elf, huh? Well, there were lots of wounded in Kenabras. Who wounded him? In what way?
Anivia appears relaxed, even nonchalant, but her eyes gleam attentively, and her hands, as if by coincidence, are resting on her belt next to her weapon.
How should I know? It must have been demons. If the wound was serious, I doubt he has fully recovered from it. Maybe if you could point me toward a healer, I could.
The woman, wrapped in rags all the way up to her eyes, turns around at the sound of your footsteps.
Damn it.
Ah, good job, Anivia. You're fucking awesome. I love you, dude. You're fucking so cool.
In a lightning-fast motion, Anivia knocks something from the woman's hands, an amulet that seemingly appeared out of nowhere. It falls to the ground and disappears in a flash of magic.
What's the rush, sweetheart? Stay a while. The commander and me, we've got a couple questions for you, too.
Damn it, Anivia, you're so fucking rad, dude. I knew I could count on you. You're so fucking dependable. You're this cool rogue type. Every other person's talking to this spy in her camp just ignorantly not even realizing she's not meant to be here. And then, like, Anivia fucking is like the only person to get her. I didn't even need to tell Anivia, I had to tell everybody else. She got onto it on her own initiative. That's her spy master. Fuck yeah, hell yeah, dude. Not teleporting away this time, you bitch. Who are you, motherfucker?
You hear a heavy sigh coming from under the shore.
Fine, you've got me. We'll talk. But not here. Lead me somewhere away from prying eyes. She's all yours, Commander. I caught her, I handed her over, and now, as they say, I wash my hands of this whole affair.
Hey, what are you about? What are you doing sneaking around our fucking camp? I like that outfit. I would have to wear that outfit, honestly, my character. Soldier, motherfucker, what do I want for you? What are you want for us? You're in our camp and you're sneaking around.
In an exasperated gesture, she rips the half-mask off her face, and you see her black skin and crimson eyes. It's Kaelessa, the elf you met in Kenabras.
Are you? Why are you hiding from me then? Don't call me soldier, I'm the commander of the crusade, and I'll let you live.
She shrugs.
Everyone's a soldier in a war, generals and privates alike. I look at you, and I see someone whose life is war and only war. That makes you a soldier.
You know, honestly, racism is never really a good idea in any things, but... Well, I'm not going to attack her. A drow is probably one of the only things you can count on and being almost universally evil almost all the fucking time in D&D. Even demons are more, and devils and etc. are more likely to be reasonable and even good sometimes. Fair, etc. But drow are just always chaotic. That's really because their culture is so fucking evil. And their goddess is, for some reason, has more dominion over them than other gods do over the mortal world and can, like, totally screw them over and does, endlessly. Basically makes them dance on crazy hoops and just, I don't know, it just makes them all psycho. It's totally psycho, honestly. Totally chaotic. Not really their fault, but man, damn. Damn, are they fucking crazy and evil beyond belief. Why did you follow my army?
To find someone.
Kalesa lets out a resigned huff.
His masters want me dead, which means I will die sooner or later.
After a pause, she narrows her eyes and spits out.
But that doesn't mean I'll lie down and accept my fate. I am no lamb to the slaughter, and I won't be waiting for a kindly executioner to come for me, knife in hand. Never again.
Okay. What do you mean, RuneScape? What do you mean? What were you replying to? His masters want me dead. This isn't really relevant. I mean, are you a spy?
Her scarlet eyes flash defiantly, and she mutters through her teeth.
I'm not going to hide it. I have come here to commit a violent and bloody act. But I do not serve the demons, and I won't do you or your forces any harm.
Yeah, don't play coy. You really are playing coy. I want fucking details here for real.
Why?
Frowning skeptically, she gives you an appraising look.
And what will you do with my story? Take it into account and pass your judgment. Kill me if you deem me a reprobate, help the poor girl if you don't. Well, I haven't asked for help, and your authority to judge me seems rather dubious.
Actually, I won't do either of these things. I don't really judge you either way. Your mission is your own. But I don't know if you're not a spy for the enemy camp. You just told me you're not, but that doesn't mean that's true. I need to see if you're like a fucking enemy for the demons. If you're not, like, you can kill this guy all you want. It's not my business. It's probably a good reason to. And maybe I'll help you, maybe I won't.
She's clearly lying to you, but it doesn't feel like the guile of someone plotting a crime. There is a slight hounded look to her eyes that makes her seem more like prey than hunter.
Yeah, I get ya. Always been fucked over and being on the outskirts of society. I get what you're saying. Right, I'll leave you be.
She shrugs casually as if her fate had not been hanging in the balance just a moment ago.
How nice of you, soldier.
Giving you a scrutinizing look, she says harshly.
There's no point in you knowing, soldier. Trust me, the answer would only bring you misfortune, and it still wouldn't be of any use to you. I'm a wanderer you won't ever meet again.
Really for me to decide, isn't it? I mean, yes, I can just say... I could say this, but I mean, it's just a race. That's just a race thing, doesn't really matter. It's like a racist thing, there's no point to say that. And I know what Drow are. I'm not going to say my character doesn't know what Drow are. I know what they are, so I'm just going to say I have to go. Right, fine, see you later then.
My gut tells me it's time I was leaving too. It's dangerous to stay here. Farewell, soldier.
I really wish I could just sat on the internet, tell me details of this, and let me verify your story. If it's true, then you can go about killing this guy if you want. It's not really my business. That's what I would have done. I wouldn't have helped her or hindered her. But I don't know if she's here to like plant a fucking bomb under the ground or something and blow it all up, you know what I mean? But I guess we'll just do that. Oh, the gold session, okay. I don't think I just want gold that much, but I like spending it, I like using it for situations. Like in The Witcher, when I could ever pay for a situation, like instead of fighting, I like to just pay my way through the situation. It seems more honest and more, I don't know, I just enjoy it more. More generous as well. Most people just solve situations with money. Have to see you, dude. Ender. I think I want to order some food now. Give me a moment, but let me leave this. Oh, nice. Crazy about the amount of hidden things kicking about. Hello, little earth elementals. What's up? Guess you were summoned by someday. Yeah, let me do a quick save, and you know what? Video's not an hour long, so I'll end this video on YouTube and get my food. Oh,